hopefully we can see that first pick Thresh coming through for him in the second game of the night.
It's a situation, too, where IM, they tried to play for the late game. They tried to just sort of wait it out and survive the aggression, but they just couldn't do it.
Well, even GE was not able to survive the aggression, so it's been successful for them. They've also shown strong, very quick wins, actually, against teams like SK Telecom. So a team that has hit their stride. It's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So IM, you can see the coaches looking a bit pensive. It's looking pretty unlikely that they'll be able to take this match as far as game number 1 looked, but we'll see. Picks and bans for game number 2. KT Rolster versus IM. And that got banned out again against Frozen.
Yeah, I don't really see KT. I think that they prefer this Sivir. They want to go all in early. They're not interested in playing a super tanky late game with Urgot. And there's the Cassiopeia. Now that they're over on the blue side, and Kalista has been removed by Incredible Miracle this game. Well, they first picked the Sejuani, though. Score has been very good on that champion so far.
Yeah. And the LeBlanc ban. Not wanting Nagne to have that, of course. But I think the question is, will we see Sejuani banned again? Or will one of these teams be able to pick it up? Also keeping Maokai away from Lilac, always an important thing.
Cho'Gath actually banned here. Really wasn't a threat to them in the first game, but perhaps Nagne doesn't want to play around that champion, may not want to go for that mid lane cannon again.
They've banned out kind of the two tanky mid laners we've been seeing in Urgot and Cho'Gath, so this kind of frees Nagne up to maybe play a little bit more like he has been earlier in the season.
I think I would have banned Xerath, honestly, Doa, against Frozen. Frozen is impactful on some of these high damage mages, and
it's true.
He really hasn't been successful in the last 2 weeks on either Urgot or Cho'Gath, so why take those out? Scores Rek'Sai removed, and first pick Sivir.
Wow. All right, well, Arrow certainly played well with it, but that does give Maokai and Sejuani over to IM if they want it, and I would imagine that's probably what they're going to go with.
And, well, in last game, see, I don't know if Sejuani would have saved them, really. That Nunu certainly not doing Ares or his team too many favors. And see, if IM wants to go super tanky, they can again. They just have to make sure that they don't really contest these early objectives or take as many risks so that they can scale and then fight the later dragons.
Wow, I'd be pretty surprised if they went with Nunu again, would you?
I don't think it was the pick that was a problem. I think it was the way they played.
Well, if they can't handle it, wouldn't that be a good reason to pick something else?
But it is an adjustment that I feel that you can make in between games. If they run the same or a similar composition again, and they just calm down a little bit, maybe they can hit that late game with not too much of a gold deficit. Lulu, banned last game by IM, will be taken this time. Usually Frozen plays Lulu on this Incredible Miracle team.
See where that goes. It does kind of suggest another Kog'Maw for Sunstar, though, I suppose.
I think it might.
They will get Sejuani, though, or KT will get Sejuani. And, again, taking away the Maokai. Yeah, good idea, too.
You really want this engage. You can go for the Alistar again. You can go for Annie here. Thresh still available.
Yeah.
For Thresh being banned by IM last game, it really has fallen very far down the draft.
Well, it seems like KT is pretty confident in Fixer's ability to play some of these other champions now. It's just not as high of a priority, I guess.
And who knows if he can play that support Kendon also. That would be really powerful with KT's composition. And I do not recommend playing Jinx against this comp that KT is running. They will be all over Jinx, who is very immobile.
Oh, wouldn't that apply to Kog'Maw as well, though?
Yes, but Kog'Maw has a little bit more range.
Oh, that's true.
And he can peel for himself instantly with the slow as opposed to waiting for those traps to set up.
Well, I think we're probably going to see this Thresh picked up for Fixer, and Nagne may be able to grab that Zed.
Okay, so they see the Juggernaut coming in. Now, GE, i.e. the best Juggernaut team.
The original Juggernaut.
The original Juggernaut tried to run Juggernaut against KT and got completely shut down by Nagne's Zed.
Yeah.
Thresh Diana, very powerful here as well to get into that back line.
Yeah. There's a lot of different damage sources coming in as well, too. Oh, he's going to go with the Lissandra. All right, well, you can certainly go in and lock a lot of people up on IM.
And they've won almost all but one of their games this season when Nagne's played Lissandra. He's a very good Lissandra player. And against the Nunu, I agree that probably Zed not the best pick because you will be snowballed, you will slow down, your death mark not going to do enough damage. Lissandra can be snowballed, she's still going to unload all of her cooldown straight onto that Cog. Also the Janna ult going to be helping to keep the Kog'Maw safe. You pop it during death mark, it's hard for Zed to get the maximum amount of damage, whereas Lissandra has a bit more damage from range. So I think that's a good pick right here.
I think we might be seeing a mid Jarvan possibly, or a top Jarvan.
Yeah, it could be
either way.
A top Jarvan playing into as an all-in champion against this Maokai.
I would imagine Lilac would be a little bit more likely to play Jarvan than Frozen would. But we'll see. Switching it over to Ezreal. Okay, so probably going to be a mid Ezreal then.
Yeah, mid Ezreal and top Lulu. So they're going pretty classic Juggernaut right here. 2 targets for Nunu to Blood Boil potentially. And it's a nice composition. I'm just unsure whether IM can actually pull this one off.
Well, traditionally it's been a pretty tough comp to play right. We've seen a lot of teams try and not do so well. And very, very few successes outside of the GE Tigers.
That's right, and especially when KT dominated GE's Juggernaut composition in Game 3 in the last match, I would be really reluctant to play this into KT. But
it does seem a bit bold, doesn't it?
IM feels that they can pull it off while GE did not. I am not so confident in that assessment.
I am not so confident either.
Well, they seem pretty confident, actually.
That's true. IM is confident. And I'm not speaking in the third person there. I'm saying the team Incredible Miracle is confident.
Well, tons of CC, tons of engage, as we've come to expect from KT. Fixer gets his hand on that Thresh, his premier champion so far this season.
KT's had a real knack for getting very, very good drafts, and this game is certainly no exception. That's kind of one of the most ideal engaged comps I think you could get, looking at that one. It's pretty scary.
Yes, and IM is going to have an incredibly hard time keeping this Kog'Maw alive.
Yep. Well, here we go. It is time. KT Rolster looking to stay out of the up and down matches. They can do it with a win right here. We'll see if they can lock it up with the 2-0. Time to get in the game. We are back on Summoner's Rift. The fans screaming, I am fighting. KT fighting. Who will fighting harder, though, Monty?
I'm going to go with KT in this one. I think
it's
KT
a pretty safe bet.
Will be the harder fighter.
It's true.
In this one. And Frozen, right there in the river brush. Just a pretty even fan here, right at level 1.
Let's see, recall from Someday after throwing that ward down. Would this be the type of thing you might consider lane swapping against?
I mean, I feel that in that Sivir Kog'Maw matchup last game that they did quite well. And the Alistar support, I think a little bit more all in than the Thresh support. So I would think that this would be an even better matchup for KT, considering they're going against the same lane.
Looks like Someday just came back to give a couple saplings over to Nagne to help him get those small raptors. I would imagine.
I would imagine you are right. So they're trying to get those XP advantages in both lanes. KT looking for the edge here, coming off of the Krugs.
The Korean players really like the Oscar the Grouch Nunu skin, don't they?
Yeah, they do. But not here.
Which is sad because Nunubot is far superior.
Nunubot's a lot more annoying to play, though. Okay, Sonstar hits level 2 immediately off of the Gromp.
Yeah, this is
so
going to be a
again,
little bit better start.
Just putting a lot of those resources in early. Krug given over to Arrow and Fixer, but they're going to see Kog'Maw already level 2. They'll have a bit of trouble right there. And Someday is just going to take Wolves before he TPs back into lane.
All right. Well, he'll have that level 2 as well, of course.
Oh!
Oh, death sentence not connecting there.
That would have been trouble for Tucson. He already had the Eye of the Storm down onto Sonstar, so no shield for himself, but that will veer a little bit wide.
Well, we'll see if Fixer can maybe force a flash early on with one of these death sentences. He's certainly done it many, many times this season.
Yeah, Nagne to play a little bit further back right here. Auto range can be quite irritating from Ezreal, and otherwise someday coming back into lane, has a ward, has a few extra pots to deal with the harass from Lulu.
Oh, there's a play. And not really a lot of follow-up. Nice spell shield from Arrow to absorb that whirlwind.
Here we go. Interesting ward right there, right at the time that Score is going to get over to that blue buff. Could see a steal. They have pressure in mid and top lanes. This is a good play from Ares, actually.
Yep, coming in to try to push Score away from blue buff, and it looks like he's going to be fairly successful at it.
Well, he can't.
Oh, yep, that's that Nunu burst.
Can't do anything against that, really. He has no one there to help him. He just has to give up his blue buff. Good play from Ares. Easy to take that one away when you have both mid and top lane with that advantage.
Yep. Score having to turn onto the Gromp, and Ares just going to go take his own red.
Great play.
Yeah.
Good counter jungling from Nunu. So working out much better early here for Incredible Miracle in this game.
Yeah, I think the big question is what's going to happen in this 2v2. Arrow and Fixer just so threatening. Fixer, yeah, look at that.
But they do have that Juggernaut composition. It's extremely good in the late game again, as long as they play a little bit more measured early on. Maybe they can do something. Lilac pushing up.
To Lilac, yeah, way too far ahead. And how many times have we seen this? First blood going to Someday because Lilac was pushed way too far up the lane with no vision at all.
Yeah, no vision, and they knew where Score was. They had just seen him. You can assume that he's going to go for Wolves or Gromp after that because they knew what his HP was when the blue buff was stolen.
Yep.
So very easy gank coming in from Score.
Well, there's some fans who are probably going to be very sad after this match.
Frozen is, he's doing well in the mid lane so far. He has been the best player on IM this season.
Well, if you're going to be an IM fan, I suppose you'll probably be a Frozen fan, although I would be a Tucson fan.
Tucson's pretty great.
Yeah. Well, Nagne already taking a bit of a chunk out of this mid lane turret, too.
Look at the zoning that KT got done in the bottom side. However, pretty big CS gap opening between the two duo lanes. As a result of that level advantage and just the pressure that they've been able to put down with the threat of boomerang blades and death sentences. Another lane looking like it will be won by KT.
Yep. Well, meanwhile, this time the Rift Scuttler taken by KT. Ares wasn't able to grab it.
Ares got it.
Oh, he did get it.
It's hard to contest that against Nunu. And
it is. I thought he got it. I thought he was just a little bit late.
So, yeah, this is all going pretty well for KT so far, even though IM did manage to sneak in with that nice counter jungle early into the game. And especially that first blood will help out someday. Can be difficult to play Maokai into Lulu. The ranged harass. Problematic early on, so that's a very good lane to get that first blood.
Yeah. Fixer's taken a decent amount of poke, and his mana is starting to get a little bit lower here. We'll see if Score can make a play, but going into this ward, I doubt he will be able to. He'll just clear it, see what happens next. You know, when you watch Lilac, too, you really wonder how in the world does he get so consistently out of position like that?
I mean, his map awareness just isn't that great, unfortunately, for him. And he's been playing in this scene a long time, but he's been playing in a lot of positions as well.
Yeah.
I think that's held him back. But top lane in this season, he started out looking decent, but as the season has gone on and on, it's just he's been really representative of the team's fate as a whole. Starting out looking okay, taking some wins off of teams like Jin Air, and then not being able to survive down the stretch, not adapting well. And with the swap out of their jungler, losing all the synergy that they had started to establish, it's kind of a sad story for Incredible Miracle. It wasn't through choices of their own that they got to where they are right now.
That's too bad. Ares is doing a pretty good job of counter jungling
yeah, he's
Score
doing
here.
very well.
Yeah, he's actually making it really tough for Score to get money and XP at the moment.
This is a much improved jungle path from him compared to last game. You can see he already has that sight stone.
Yep.
So even though deep wards are getting into IM's jungle, they're not able to actually stop Ares in his attempts. Now they do have a lot of wards around this blue buff right here. Fixer going up to harass. They're going to have to take this. Oh, wow, they're bold.
No kidding. They'll get it anyway. That will go over to Frozen, but Fixer made the attempt at least.
Yeah, that was
they're going to lose
potentially
a lot on
quite
that mid lane.
dangerous for Incredible Miracle, but they had a ward at the choke right there, so they knew there wasn't anyone else coming. But KT gets a lot of damage down on that turret.
Yeah, meanwhile, some action down in bot lane. Sunstar taking about half his health in damage from Arrow and Fixer.
Wow, huge CS lead for Arrow in this bottom lane already. Not something we're used to seeing, but man.
Whoa, they got him. Still under turret, though.
Yeah, not going to dive that one. It's a little bit too risky.
Knock up onto Arrow. Arrow turns for some good damage onto Tucson here. I don't know if that was quite the trade that IM wanted, but here comes...
Ares going to come around, though.
Yep, he's coming from behind, and where is Score? He's nowhere to be found. He's back in the mid lane right now.
Wow, Arrow and Fix are playing this properly, though. They don't know where he is. They're starting to get a little bit scared right now.
I would.
Now, so they pull back, wait for the wave to push forward again, but this should give them a little bit of wiggle room.
They've still got their summoners, too, so they're well equipped to try to survive. This is the ultimate pop for Arrow. Teleport used as well. Snowball onto Fixer. He's just going to keep walking. Lilac gets pulled under the turret. There's a flay as well. Fixer's still alive for now. Nearly went down. Had to ult himself. Oh, they do get the kill in the end onto Fixer. That's right. They're turning around onto something now as he teleports in. Arrow exhausted, going after Lilac. Great ult comes in from Sejuani. Tucson gets taken out by a Score. Frozen not really able to make a big impact, but man, Arrow did a double kill for him, and so they got the kill on Fixer, but they paid for it with 3 of their own.
And a dragon. That was an extremely ambitious teleport coming in from Lilac right there, and he just immediately gets hooked into the turret. KT easily able to turn that around. Great TP from Someday to lock him up after Lilac was already gone, and 3 kills just for a single support, and you lose the dragon off of that. Maybe even your mid lane turret. Dragon's already gone. They split up. No one gets hit by the True Shot Barrage.
Well, that's pretty much about worst case scenario for IM there.
Well, worst case is they actually don't kill Fixer, but they dove hard enough to get him. However, that may have cost them more in the long run.
Yeah.
Wow, IM just looking very uncoordinated and pretty disrespectful, actually, of the fact that Maokai could really quite easily turn that around if you took too many turret hits. Well, and also Frozen, he has a tier right now. He has no damage to actually come down and roam and make that play. Meanwhile, Lissandra, already with her ultimate, can just come down there and make a difference immediately. Right. So if they overcommitted to that, Lissandra has the time just to walk straight out of the mid lane, and that's exactly what we saw. Really, really risky play from Incredible Miracle.
Pretty much. You know, and it's sad to see Lilac, fall so far. He was never a tip-top player here in his time on IM, but I think in whatever form Incredible Miracle comes back, if they make it back for the summer season, I don't think Lilac's going to be a player on it. I could see him being a coach, but...
Yeah, it may be time for him to transition.
I think it is.
Into that role because he just hasn't been able to hang. And granted, in Korea, top lane is probably the most stacked position, especially after the mass exodus of players. There is still a plethora of top lane talent in this country, so it's even harder for him compared to players at other positions. Well, that may have gotten easier, especially if we look like at a position like the jungle.
We've been hearing for years too just how strategically intelligent Lilac is. We see a bit of action in the bot lane, but it just hasn't transitioned into actual gameplay. And I think a lot of people are waiting for him to maybe step back to that coaching role now.
Well, it's one thing, if you don't have the mechanics to play it out right, or, of course, in the moment, it's very difficult for a pro player to make the proper decision. So even if he can be creative in terms of what he brings to the table before and after the game.
Oh, Tucson, that's a lot of damage onto him. Oh. Very lucky that he got that knockup with Fixer. I think that death sentence was pretty close to connecting otherwise.
Tucson hasn't been on his game yet. This is going to be potentially an ult dive under the tower. At the very least.
We'll see Score coming in. Misses the ult. Nice dodge there, but Tucson's still in a lot of trouble. Gets the knockback. The Arrow in big trouble now, actually. Minions doing damage. Ares picks up that kill.
Sloppy
Whoops.
dive from KT.
Yep.
They weren't on the same page right there. They should have just zoned them out and tried to take the turret instead of having Arrow attempt to all in. I mean, Arrow's ult was down right there. Not going to catch that one. That is not a good play from KT Rolster.
Not exactly. Let's watch it again.
So basically right here, this is fine, but just straight up airballing. There's the boomerang blade also missing, and then Score gets knocked back pretty damn far.
Yeah, I feel like Score was expecting the flash, and it did not happen.
But that's fine. You can waste an ult right there as long as you actually go ahead and push the tower and take the tower down. You just don't commit to a fight like that when you don't have your crucial ultimates that you need in order to make that play.
You know, despite the misstep for KT, though, it did give Someday a chance to just get in between the first and second turrets, do some dirty farming, and make life even harder for Lilac. Look at that, already 123 to 85 CS.
That's not how this matchup is supposed to go either.
Not usually. And again, you know, despite the kind of silly death from Arrow in the bot lane, he's still up 107 to 88. So KT still remains in a very good situation, although Fixer may be in a little bit of trouble. Here comes Score as well. Oh, good turnaround for KT. Will Nagne decide to go in? No, not quite.
I feel he could have actually ulted that one, but
might have been able to.
Lilac has his TP up because slightly sooner, because he actually TP'd into that fight a little bit earlier than Someday did.
Yep.
And also looks like he does have some summoner cooldown reduction as well. So that was actually a very smart play from KT not to follow that one up, knowing that there was this very subtle difference in summoner cooldowns.
Well, I think they just momentarily ago learned a lesson in not following up things that probably shouldn't be followed up.
It's a good timer, though. I would assume that's why they decided not to go all in. Someday was saying he didn't have TP and was about to come up. That was a very narrow window, however, and by not committing to it, you know, the only thing they really lose is Sivir ult, which is a relatively short cooldown, so can afford to be burned like that.
That's right. Dragon up in a minute. The ults should be available again by then. A little bit of vision for both teams near the Dragon Pit. And with KT having that lane pushed up so aggressively, they'll probably be able to get a couple more wards in. Although Ares, we'll see if he can get that pink ward.
Yeah, and if you're KT right now, you really just want to push towers as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Because mid and bot getting very low. How are they going to deal with that pressure? If you can take the tower and build a wave right before that dragon spawns, there's really going to be no way for IM to deal with that. And that's why Ares is in lane right now.
Right. Well, this is one of those really scary positions where IM knows if they lose a team fight at this point, they could lose dragon and like 2 turrets too.
Yeah, it's pretty desperate for them. So I don't blame Ares for being right here next to the turret.
Yep.
Of course, he can really help wave clear with the Rangers Trailblazer also.
Oh, that turret nearly dead, and Arrow able to take
so
out the
low
ward.
Too.
Yeah.
It's a very unfortunate position for IM. And if you're KT, you don't have to set up right now. Your setup will be taking one of these towers. Wow, IM just going to recall.
Yeah, just going to have to give up that dragon and the turret.
Oh.
Mid lane goes down. Top lane's about to go down. They're going to get bot as well.
This is brutal. And look at that.
Boy.
They immediately turn onto it. At the same time, Someday just wants to put pressure on the top side. Deny as much CS as possible.
Yep.
This is just a laning stomp here from KT and showing how if you time the towers going down properly, Someday doesn't care about dying right here.
It's not the biggest deal. His team is still getting dragon right now. He's distracting them more than anything.
Yeah, he's happy actually to see Ares up there. He's like, good, now we know where the jungler is on the map.
Yeah.
We have this huge advantage. They didn't take the top lane down, but it is just hanging by a thread right now.
Yep. You can literally walk up and auto it. Oh, it's down ready. Wow, bot turret going down at the same time.
What a massive gold swing in favor of KT. Dragon and 3 turrets.
Just like that, 5K
But
ahead.
notice how KT, that's really good shot calling. They didn't want to commit to the dragon right when they had spawned, even though they had the lane pressure. Instead, they make the decision to go for the ultra-safe dragon right when they can push through, and they just wear IM down in lane until they can't defend anymore.
Man.
And then it makes that dragon even easier to get. Really well done lane pressure this game by KT.
That is just like a soul-crushing situation, too, where you lose the dragon and two turrets at the same time.
That's Tilt City right there.
No
You're
kidding.
sitting in that IM booth, and you see all the turrets getting destroyed and falling one by one on your screen, and then the dragon buff. That is...
Yep.
That is a rough situation.
That's lights out. And then your Lilac and realize you're 60 CS behind your opponent again. It's pretty rough.
Someday looking to cross the flame horizon.
He's on his way.
He's well on his way.
Yeah. He's over halfway on his way, in fact. Well, KT.
Magne just being a jerk and freezing right now.
Yeah. Well, isn't Lissandra always freezing? Isn't that kind of her default
Fair
position?
enough, Doa. Fair enough. You bring up a good point. Touche, sir. Wow, they're freezing in 3 lanes.
Yeah, it looks like they want to create some of those big super waves again, huh?
This is a good call from IM, though. If they're going to freeze like this, just 5-man mid, see if you can get a tower down.
Well, will that signal Arrow to just push up bot aggressively, though?
Yes, that's exactly what it should do.
It looks like it is. And so that pulls IM back in that direction.
I think they could have played that a little bit more aggressively in the mid lane instead of immediately capitulating. Well, Frozen actually dodges the hook right there that we saw getting wound up by Fixer in mid.
Immediately acquiescing to the query posed by Arrow.
That's right. The Arrow question.
That's right. The Arrow conundrum. Sounds like the next Born Identity novel or something.
That's true. Arrow's a good name for a spy, too.
That's true. If I was a spy, I might consider the name Arrow.
What would your first name be?
Probably something like Brock.
Brock Arrow?
Brock Arrow. That sounds like, well, it's more of an action hero kind of name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it possesses the subtleness to be a spy name.
Yeah, maybe like, I don't know. It's much easier to think of
How
action
about
hero
like
names, isn't
Spencer Arrow? That sounds more sophisticated.
Xavier Arrow. That's a good one. Oh, Tucson grab. There's Flayed in the box. Uses the ult. Very low health, though. Xavier Arrow.
Super spy.
Yep. And he has no middle name, so you can avoid that cliche. That's a good one.
Oh, well.
Yep, this one's pretty over.
It's going to take a pretty big miracle for the incredible Miracle Crew to come back. They have to live up to their name, Doa.
It's always so hard to say that about this team because it's like, well, gee, would it take an incredible miracle? And oftentimes it would.
Pretty much every time, at least in the second half of this season.
Yep. Yep, pretty much. And it's disappointing, too, for a team that was so dominant for so long in StarCraft 2 to struggle so much for so long in League of Legends.
Tucson.
Oh, boy. Goodbye, Tucson. It's tough.
Tucson really has problems on these disengaged champions. Compared to some of the play we've seen, I mean, even a support Aurelia individually was good. The pick was not good, but he himself was pretty decent, actually.
Yep. Oh, Arrow getting chunked out pretty heavily in the bot lane. But they can still keep a bit of pressure onto the turret here. But yeah, I don't think Tucson should be playing these more passive supports. I think he knows deep in his heart he needs to be bloodthirsty.
What can he do at this point? He tried Maokai, he tried Kale, and
he pretty much tried everything, didn't he?
Veigar, and he was the first one to play Veigar. Before that was really a meta pickup. Nice steal there, actually.
Yeah.
So he's run the table with weird engaged supports even when he doesn't have Thresh, and now he's going back to meta, but it just doesn't seem to suit his playstyle. And he gets caught. He's been caught out a lot in the 2 games that we've seen tonight.
Well, could have tried Xerath support maybe. A lot of CC.
Not an engaged support though, so I'm not sure that would really help him.
What about? Oh yeah, that's a trick.
We got a flash E on Xerath support for the sweet engage Doa.
Vel'Koz, just use your angles to engage.
No, I don't think those champions are good for him. I'd rather see that Maokai support come back. Honestly, I'd rather see the Aurelia support come back for him. Like I said, and individually, he was fine. He actually did very well on it.
You know, I think you should just play Blitzcrank. What do you really have to lose at this point? Make some grabs, make some plays.
Blitz out.
Yep. Oh, well, Tucson point blank death sentence for him. Oh boy, that was fast. KT backing away, Siverald pops, Onstar getting chunked already. True Shot Barrage comes through. There's the ult from Sejuani. Someday coming down from the top. He's going to advance onto Sansar right through the wall. Wild Growth gets the knock up. Nagne behind. He's going to take down Frozen. And KT just chasing away IM. Someday still chasing around Sansar at the bottom. That's a double kill now for Nagne. Meanwhile, let's cut back to the other fight. There we go. Well, this is a little bit sad to watch, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, right there, unfortunately for Sansar, he flashed, but right at the wrong time. Twisted Advance followed him.
It's already activated.
Yeah, if it had been just a little bit sooner, probably would have gotten out of that one and been able to kite decently well, but KT instantly exploding Tucson meant that there really wasn't that much peel, and Nagne chose the right target, gets into the back line to deal with Frozen after Wild Growth has already been used on Sanstar, so selecting the right target, and now should be...
Okay, Glitterland steal incoming. True Shot Barrage softens the Baron up. Oh, oops, Lilac engaged on over the cliff. Nagne joins in. Baron taken by KT. They're going to get the kill onto Lilac as well, and recalls incoming.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Tucson just gets smacked right in the face by a death sentence, dies instantly. They are peeling out right here. Frozen pops the True Shot Barrage, and Sanstar gets, this is very important though. Oh, Sanstar shouldn't have flashed, should have waited that one out just a little bit longer. That allows Nagne to get right on top of Frozen. Nothing he can do anymore, and Arrow just has to run ahead with that red buff. Nagne grabs the double with the Q. A little bit gratuitous. Zunya's Hourglass right there. He probably wasn't going to get bursted down by Lilac, considering Lilac has no items.
Seemed like kind of a style situation to me. I am already on the run again.
Maybe not the best.
Oh boy, here comes Nagne. He comes in. No ult, though he does have his ult. There's his Zonias. That was a good one there. Score comes in with the engage as well, and KT cleaning up that one so fast.
Yeah, so far ahead.
Oh boy.
That Siverol.
Oh, the
Lilac.
death sentence on a Lilac. No! I can't watch anymore.
Taking the Q right there. Frozen.
Oh! Baited that death sentence big time. Jeez. Oh, might pay for it. Someday it's like, no man, I'm tanking. Oh boy. Oh, Frozen. Someday you just take turrets. Look at this.
Frozen and a turret versus Falcon.
What? What is this? Oh no. That is.
That's the FML face from Frozen. He's like, I couldn't beat a tree with a turret, the help of a turret.
When your Ezreal can't beat Maokai under turret, that's when you know things are not going well. Okay, KT having a great time.
Fixer having a giggle there.
Yep.
In the booth. Hit some very nice death sentences over the course of that engagement. That's just how far KT is ahead right now. You can just whiff the Sedge ult. You can waste the Siverol to a certain degree, get slowed down. I am kited that quite well, actually.
He baited in Frozen so hard before Someday, took it over. But he let himself get hit with the Mystic Shot. He just stood there. So Frozen came back, well, I guess I'll try again. And Death Sentence comes out point blank. You're not dodging that one.
Yeah, this Ezreal just doesn't have much damage with the Iceborne either compared to a Trinity Force.
Well, Thresh, I mean, with the items he's got so far, he can certainly take a hit or two. And
it's going for Righteous Glory Thresh. Oh, boy.
It was just such an obvious bait. Wow. That was... We've gotten a little bit silly at this point. This game is out of control.
It's going to be interesting for Jin Air, too, because Jin Air has to play KT in their last match, and it's a match that's looking increasingly like it really could go either way with how KT is playing these days.
It'll be a big deal if Jin Air wins, because if CJ wins, then third place is locked up anyway, so it doesn't really matter as much. But if Jin Air wins, then it might make a big difference, actually, who takes that one.
Yeah, very well could.
Well, mid inhibitor is quite vulnerable. KT just waiting for that final engage again. Just not a ton of siege, but they've got all this tankiness. They've got this huge engage. They're just going to run right onto the turret. Death sentence dodge. I am thinking about coming in. Ares can't even flash in for that absolute zero engage that I advocate for some strange reason. I don't know.
It's because you like watching
here.
You like watching style points on Nunu, Doa.
Yeah, dude.
It's understandable.
Why not? I think it's fairly natural.
Lilac literally has no items. This Lulu is a glorified second support at this point.
Yeah.
He has a Morello Namicon, a Blasting Wand. That is doing absolutely nothing to KT.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Towers slowly falling, and KT will be relieved to win this one. Here we go.
Here they go. Yep. Oh, nice. Oh, Tucson locked up already. Someday coming in. Oh, gets pushed back into the team. That's convenient. Sunstar with a kill, or with getting killed already. Nagne. Zonia's after locking people up long enough for the double to come in for
Nagne
Arrow.
lives.
He does live. How many hit points does he have?
He had like less than 10 hit points.
He did. Oh, meanwhile, triple kill. Okay. Nagne pieces out of that fight.
Wow, Nagne just barely living through the Acathian surprise at the end of that game, and KT still pressing forward. They're going to take a second inhibitor.
The surprise is that he lived.
That was the Acathian surprise that time, that Nagne.
Oh yeah, after Sunstar, died, he's like, wow, I didn't expect that.
Nagne's
I did not expect Nagne to live through that. That's more like a Acathian surprise.
Oh.
Da, 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 da. Whoa, he gets it with the true shot barrage. Oh, man.
You really should have seen that one coming.
Yep.
You know the best part is he could have ulted himself right there.
He could have, yeah. I think that was he felt bad. Like, I'll help your stat line a little bit.
Nagne could have just ulted himself.
He's like, hey, 0 deaths, 1 death. My KDA stays the same. I don't care.
Oh, Frozen.
Wow.
Balling out of control now. It steals the red buff also.
Truly game changing. He's turning it around.
That's extra funny because most pro players, when they play Lissandra, have a hotkey that's just dedicated to self-ulting. So you can just hit it and it just ults yourself instantly.
You don't just alt-R? Like alt key? The alt key? ALT?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lilac. The suffering of the Lilac. Our 2015 Spring Season Long Panda Award winner. Dies again. Tucson flashes. That's a fast tree.
You can alt-R, but it's just faster to have it bound to a different key. So
I suppose.
It's just so quick to do it that way.
It's a good idea. Oh. Tucson just kind of hanging out. Because what else is he going to do at this point? Team's on almost 20,000 gold down, and KT coming in for perhaps the killing blow. And someday tanking that turret does a little bit more damage than those tier 2s, though. Needs to be kind of careful. Oh boy, Frozen coming in. Arrow getting very low. Fixer has to pop the box. It looks like it'll be a kill. On to Arrow, actually. Fixer in big trouble. Make that a double kill for Frozen. Balling out of control indeed. Meanwhile, the super minions pushed away by Tucson. That's a nice art. That'll help them save that turret for the moment.
Yeah, it was a good ult, but they're just going to turn right around onto this Baron now. Nagne looking, he's Frozen hunting.
Or is he being hunted?
No. Nagne walking a lot of wards right now. KT getting kind of silly in this one. They should just wait for Arrow and Fixer to come back up. They have those super minion waves. Easy Baron could be incoming.
Well, if this one was a bit tighter, it would already be over. But KT, pretty comfortable with the position that they're in this game.
And why shouldn't they be? Right?
Oh, yeah. Oops.
He missed his W.
Yep.
Oh, no wards on the Baron. Plenty of vision already up. Still no Last Whisper, actually, but nobody having that much armor.
Baron. True shot barrage is up. Could be another miracle play from Frozen. Here we go. It's coming. Aftershock barrage. Oh, barely doesn't get it.
We got way too excited about that one. The crowd.
Close call.
We're into it right now, hoping
we got to
for
find something to get excited about.
Do we?
We do.
How about CJ versus Jin-Air?
Yeah. Guys, next is CJ versus Jin-Air.
Let's get excited about that one.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
It actually will be. So.
A battle for third place. Who's going to take it? CJ Entis versus Jin-Air. Looking forward to seeing what bow tie Gank by Mom is wearing today. We'll see as the engage happens. We'll continue to wonder who's going to take it, CJ or Jin-Air in our next match. Because KT is very obviously taking this one. Land of Frozen. Oh, Frozen. Frozen with the plays. He's still alive. The kill on to score. Oh, but that's it. That is it. For both Frozen and Incredible Miracle, the Nexus turret's going down, and a Baron-powered KT Rolster will cruise to a 2-0 victory. That means that Incredible Miracle and Samsung are going to those up and down matches to fight for a spot in Champions, while KT is safe to get into Champions Summer.
Well, that's a big relief for the KT organization.
Sure is.
And they can be happy, I think, exiting this season. They still have a match against Jin-Air. They could play spoiler, depending on what tonight's outcome is. But KT definitely coming in strong in the second part of this season. Fixer a big part of that. Great game by Arrow, too.
Yeah, KT, I mean, really turning things around again in the second half of the regular season, and it just makes you excited about summer. You know, it's kind of wish you could fast forward and see how this team is going to be then.
Well, KT came into this season after a solid preseason, looking like they'd be at least a middle-of-the-table team.
Look at like 3, 4 or so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then they fell off really hard at the beginning, underperformed in a way that no one really thought they would. But they've slowly been getting it back together.
Yep.
Now, looking pretty solid overall. Certainly better than their record indicates.
Yeah, this is tough for IM. You know, one more match, of course, in the regular season, but now they have to start wondering about the up and down matches. Time to start scouting those top 4 challenger teams, because their spot in Champions is on the line.
Yeah. I think they'll make it through, but
they've got a pretty good chance.
A pretty good chance, but still rough season for Incredible Miracle. It's been pretty much downhill.
Yep.
Since the first few weeks, and
well, it is really unfortunate too, because it's not entirely their fault. You know, losing Wisdom was not something that was in their control, and that's really what hurt them more than anything.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, Lilac has not had a good season, but Tucson Wisdom really had something good going before he had to take a break.
Well, fun games to watch at the very least.
Yeah.
Another dominant performance from KT. And now I'm very excited to see how Jin-Air KT goes next week.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to see how Jin-Air